Have you ever heard the expression, greed is good? Well, if you haven't, then let me be the first to tell you that there is nothing further from the truth. Let's follow the conquistadors through the Amazon as they chase the golden promise of El Dorado. But the more they search, the more they lose men, sanity, and their souls. What was it ever real or just a mirror of their own ambition? The year is 1537, and by now the world has heard tales of the legendary city of gold, El Dorado. The Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro, who had previously conquered the Inca Empire, sets out into the heart of South America to find the mystical city. He leads a small army of about 80 men deep into the uncharted territory, where they quickly become lost. Within days, they are attacked by the natives. Pizarro and his men fought bravely, but soon realized that the jungle was no place for them. They decided to return to civilization, but after walking for days, they found themselves no closer to the coast than when they had set out. Lost, hungry, and thirsty, they were forced to turn back, but Pizarro refused to give up. He knew that somewhere in this green hell lay El Dorado, and so he pressed on. This time, however, he made friends with some of the local tribes who told him of a great city far to the south where the streets were paved with gold. At last, the conquistadors approached what they thought was the edge of the world. Before them lay a vast lake surrounded by tall mountains, and in the distance they could see the glimmer of gold. Could this be it? El Dorado, the city of gold? Without hesitation, Pizarro sent a few men ahead to scout out the city. When the conquistadors first laid eyes on the city, they were amazed. Everything glittered before them like a mirage. Golden temples, golden palaces, golden statues, even golden trees. It seemed too perfect to be true. Yet they had come so far and endured so much to reach this place. And so they pushed on, eager to claim the riches for themselves. But as they ventured deeper into the city, they began to notice strange things. There were no people anywhere to be seen. All they saw were golden statues that looked strangely like the natives they had encountered on their journey. And the deeper they went, the more eerie the statues became, until finally they came across a temple where the main statue was a huge golden idol with a face that was a grotesque mockery of the conquistadors themselves. As Pizarro gazed upon the idol, he felt a sudden sense of foreboding and realized that something was not right here. And suddenly, as if to confirm his fears, the ground began to rumble and the statue of the idol began to move. The conquistadors panicked and fled the city, but it was too late. The earth split open and the golden idol rose from its pedestal and began to pursue them. The conquistadors ran for their lives, stumbling over each other in their haste to escape. Some were caught by the roots that burst from the ground and pulled them down into the earth. Others were crushed beneath the weight of the falling statue, and still others were swept away by the rising waters. One by one, the conquistadors were picked off until only Pizarro was left alive. And so it goes, the legend of El Dorado, a tale of greed, madness, and death. The story serves as a warning to those who would seek to conquer the unknown. For what is gained in gold is often lost in blood and treasure. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to look at the dark side of wealth and the dangers of unchecked ambition. We will also explore how the human mind can deceive us and lead us to our doom. Finally, we will consider whether El Dorado was a real place or just a figment of the conquistadors' imaginations. There is little doubt that the conquistadors were driven by greed when they set out to find El Dorado. They had heard stories of the riches of the Inca and Aztec empires, and they wanted to get their hands on some of that gold. However, there is evidence that the conquistadors were also motivated by a desire for power and glory. They were attracted to the idea of conquering a new land and bringing it under the control of the Spanish crown. In fact, the name El Dorado itself means the golden one in Spanish. So it is clear that the conquistadors were searching for more than just wealth. Unfortunately for them, the jungle had other plans. The Amazon rainforest is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Not only is it home to all sorts of deadly creatures, but it is also incredibly difficult to navigate. The conquistadors were completely lost and had to contend with hunger, thirst, and the elements. It was only by making allies with some of the local tribes that they were able to survive. However, it seems that even the locals knew that there was something evil in the forest. They warned the conquistadors not to go any further, but Pizarro's greed got the better of him and he ignored their advice. This is when things started to turn dark. The conquistadors began to hear strange noises in the forest, like the sound of drums and chanting. They also started to see strange lights and shadows moving in the trees. All of this made them very uneasy, but they pressed on regardless. It was only when they reached the city of gold that they realized the truth. What they had been hearing and seeing were the sounds and shadows of the supernatural. El Dorado was not just a city of gold, it was also a place of evil. The conquistadors were not meant to find it, and those who did were doomed to suffer. What happened to Pizarro and his men is truly horrifying. One by one, they were picked off by the forces of nature and the idol that they had mocked. It is a cautionary tale of what happens when humans get too close to the divine. So was El Dorado real or just a myth? It is hard to say for sure. There are legends of a golden city hidden in the Amazon, but there is no concrete evidence that it ever existed. Perhaps El Dorado was just a figment of the conquistadors' imaginations, a product of their own greed and ambition. Or maybe it was a warning to them, a message from the jungle itself that they should not have trespassed. One thing is for sure though, the legend of El Dorado continues to capture the human imagination. It is a story of greed, madness, and death, but it is also a story of the unknown, of the dangers of exploring the wilderness and the darkness that lies within us all. In the end, it may not matter whether El Dorado was real or not. What matters is the story itself and what it says about us. As long as humans are driven by greed and ambition, we will continue to search for El Dorado, both within ourselves and in the world around us. And that's all for today. What do you think? Was El Dorado real or just a myth? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.